this is the Soul Dive. My name is Lebo. This is Deidre, Nxumalo Freeman, our guest for today. Welcome to the Soul Dive.
Thank you so much for having me, Lebo.
So we're just finishing up last giggles from just before you joined us. In perfect Soul Dive fashion, we begin each show with a tune-in. So we're going to do that. To put your feet nicely in the ground. If you are able to lie down, if you're at home and you're able to lie down, go ahead and do that. Deidre and I will just put our feet flat on the ground. Get a nice long posture. Relax our shoulders. Give ourselves permission to relax, relax, relax. And if you want, you're welcome to close your eyes, just so that you come into within yourself. You take a nice deep in-breath from the belly. And out. Another deep in-breath. And out. Giving ourselves permission to relax, relax, relax. Now finding our normal breathing rhythm. Aligning our in-breath with our out-breath as we become more aware of our breath coming in and our breath going out. Of course, we've got thoughts coming and going. We allow the thoughts to come and go, just like we would people walking down the street when we walk past them. We focus on our breath. Focusing on our breath, breathing in, breathing out. If your breath is shallow, just be aware it is. If your breath is deep, be aware it is. You're making the intention to relax and to breathe much in the same way as we do when you're lying down, reading a book or relaxing. I invite you to bring a hand to your heart, it doesn't matter which one. And be aware now of our heartbeat. Be aware that your heartbeat is like a sensation, our breath, our heartbeat. These are the things every single human being has. Connects us with one another. You might feel led to take another deep in and out breath. A nice cleansing breath. If there's any part of you that's tinged or tired or tense, take your in-breath into that place. If you want to breathe out a sigh through your mouth, that's also alright. Alright. I invite you to silently or out loud repeat these words with me. I love myself.
I love myself.
I support myself.
I support myself.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
As we take the next breath, deep in-breath into the stomach, we raise our hands up to the sky. As we bring them back, we cover them over ourselves, hand over shoulder, and give ourselves a nice, easy hug. And don't forget to smile at yourself.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Very relaxed.
It's a short little thing, right?
Yeah.
But it also just brings you
Just
back to yourself.
relaxes you.
Yeah, yeah. And you can do it anytime. Anytime, whether you're at work or in the middle of meetings and you're just like, give me 5 minutes, I'll be back. You just go.
Awesome.
I used to do that.
Yeah,
I used to do that.
sometimes we need to just get ourselves centered.
That's exactly it, you know. Of course, Deidre, I'm going to introduce you very briefly, but I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit more about yourself. Soul Divers, this is one of those women that inspires me. She is a businesswoman. She is a mother. She is a wife for over 33 years.
30
years. 30 years. Ah, I've promoted you to 3 years more.
You will enjoy that.
I'm like, your marriage has got, it's Christ year now. And runs one of those local businesses that really goes to the heart of the community and helps the community and things like that. We'll talk some more about that. This show is about the soul of the entrepreneur, and we hope to unpack what goes into such a formidable, phenomenal woman to make you have such vivid, amazing expression. Do you want to add something to what I said about you?
No, thanks for the opportunity, Lebo. Yeah, been 13 years in the business, so this will really help me to do introspection. with regards to what I'm doing and where the business is going to. So thanks for the opportunity.
You're most welcome. So we're going to talk about the fact that you also do some very amazing things, like Deidre works with her husband. Like, I don't know how that's done, but yes. Let's take it right from the beginning. How do you describe yourself in your own head? You know, let us into your soul. When you tell yourself who you are, what do you say?
Well, I think I enjoy what I'm doing at the moment, but my journey basically started as an entrepreneur at the age of 5. I think the entrepreneurial bug actually started. I was sent to school early.
Okay.
Yes, so being the eldest of 5 children, I was very resourceful. Went to school, and then one of the kids asked me for my lunch once, and they said, "I'll pay you for your lunch." Light bulb moment. So without my mom knowing, I made extra sandwiches in the morning.
Wow.
And sold my lunch at school, and I had money for popcorn and all sorts. And then my mom caught me out.
Wow.
Where did I get money for popcorn? Yeah, I did get quite a beating that day, but I think that's where
for being resourceful.
I think that's where the bug struck. But it's also
Yeah.
from my mom and dad. They were always doing something extra. Always canvassing, selling. So I think that's where we got our entrepreneurial bug. My sister is also an entrepreneur. I think she's 2 years in the industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were excellent role models, just their work ethic. I think you need a strong work ethic if you're an entrepreneur. You need to make it work, because it's not just for yourself, it's the people that work for you. And with our business, there's indirect people that depend on us as well.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about the actual business that you do, because we're going to refer to it a lot. So, what business do you do?
Okay, sorry.
I want to invite you to look more in that way. So.
The business is called DNF, Waste and Environmental Services. I started the business 13 years ago, but mainly consulting. And the last 7 years of the business I diversified. My husband joined me. He's got extensive experience in the logistics industry. So it was a good match for waste management. You need lots of logistics. So he joined the business. We bought an existing glass recycling business, and we service all the bottle banks in the greater border car area.
Okay.
So that's how we started, only doing glass. Within this industry, you can't only do one product, you have to diversify. Then we started doing all the recyclable commodities. So at the moment, we take paper, plastic, glass, cans. We even do used motor vehicle oil as well as used cooking oil. So anything that can be recycled, we do at DNF.
Do you only collect, or do you actually also see it back to the consumer?
So we've got, what we do at our depot in Wilsonia, we collect all the recyclables, we aggregate it, so like your paper, plastic and your cardboard all gets baled, so it gets aggregated, and at the moment most of that is going out of West London.
Yeah.
We then looked at opportunities where we can beneficiate waste locally and try and create more employment. So instead of sending everything to Johannesburg or Cape Town, which is what we're currently doing, we crush glass and we actually make glass sand, and that glass sand can be used in the decorative paint industry. It can be used to make tombstones. So we're developing that industry. So we've got the technology, we've got the equipment that we're actually producing glass sand. We're now developing the aftermarket to actually make all these commodities locally out of those products. So not all our glass would go out of the city. We can create more employment locally.
So you worked for corporate for a while. One of those big, nice, cash jobs where you just like, I could tell here. What did it take for you to decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to move this way, you know?
I think I always knew that I wouldn't stay in industry forever. But But God had to make me uncomfortable where I was for me to take the next step in terms of my journey becoming an entrepreneur. So the last company I worked for was a massive OEM. I used to get a company car every 6 months, awesome salary.
New car every 6 months.
Every 6 months, fuel paid for, all of the perks, everything was covered. So it was a massive decision for me to take to actually transition into becoming an entrepreneur and starting my own business.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important when you make that decision, your networks are critical. You cannot do that if you don't have established networks. So while I was in corporate, I joined all these organizations such as Business Women's Association, the Border Chamber of Business, all the networking organizations. You need to have your networks to have
because
clientele.
Who becomes important.
Exactly.
Yes.
But that was very important. But also for me going into consulting, I was used to corporate, so I wasn't used to how do I charge, how do I put tenders together, how do I charge in terms of rates, etc. So when I left the OEM, the massive OEM, I joined a consulting firm.
Okay.
Only for a year, but in that year I learned.
Was the plan in place
so
that I'm going to go there to learn so I can
yes,
transition?
I didn't think it was only going to be for a year, it would be longer. But yes, I learned so much in that year, and I'm eternally grateful for the consulting company that I joined. But then a year later, 1st of April 2008, I made the decision to go on my own.
Yeah.
I've had some regrets, you do as an entrepreneur.
Some questions, some stop signs.
But it's been rewarding. I must say God's really been good and His favor has been upon the business.
So we talk a lot on the show about soul purpose, like pursuing your purpose in life, pursuing that which feels viscerally like the thing you were born to do. How did that occur to you, and how did that sort of drive you in these decisions that you were making?
I think being in the industry that I am in and seeing the impact that it does make in communities, because with waste management you're not only cleaning up the environment, but you're actually providing a source of income for somebody, for something that's just lying in the street. I think that drives me every morning, knowing that I make a difference in the lives of my staff, but also in the communities that we operate in. And for me, that is fulfilling, that's rewarding, that wakes me up, that makes me work till the wee hours of the morning or over weekends if I know something has to get done. And our first priority always is to ensure that the vendors that we procure from, that they are paid first and our staff get paid first.
Doesn't working in the waste management industry just give you a sense of irritation at the consumerism of our culture today?
It's a bit of both.
It's like, it's okay, we're earning from it, but also like this is nonsense.
Yes. So it's dual. Plastic is something that we need to manage in our society. And I think as a company, as an organization, I think we're making a difference. We have an extensive school program, so we do go in and educate. And I found that to be very effective, because when my daughter was still at school, everything that you get taught at school gets brought home. So that's the point where you can actually impact the entire family to make drastic changes within the household. So that has worked very well, especially at primary school level. The kids are excited, and I mean, if we've got prizes, when we do road shows, you must see the excitement, the recyclables that they'll bring, and they'll follow instructions.
What do you wish you knew before you jumped? You went to start your own business?
I think I wish I knew pitfalls of business. I've been learning along the way. I think an MBA would have helped me tremendously. So I'm learning as we carry on, but you also learn to get the correct connections. So I managed to get the accountant that just understands our business. That was very important to me. But there's a lot you learn in a very short space of time, especially with me starting out 13 years ago. Just me, myself, and I consulting. My first consulting gig was in Durban.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't get paid for actually doing the audits that I did in Durban for 6 months. I seriously reconsidered. Reconsidered my.
Okay, I think I should go get employed now. Like,
yes,
I could use the money in my account.
I need that new car every 6 months. So that was a tough induction to becoming an entrepreneur.
But what kept you going?
I think it's the passion. You have to have passion. You should not go into business if you don't have a passion for it. So that made me wake up every morning, do what I need to do. But I think my husband was also very instrumental. He encouraged me a lot because both of us became entrepreneurs in the same year. Within 3 months of each other. Fortunately for him, his income was more stable.
Okay.
But yes, I had a very, very rude induction into becoming an entrepreneur.
Okay, so you go in, you become an entrepreneur, and you find out that these things. You say to me passion. I like that answer, right? But I think we need to take it down into a little bit more detail. Is it passion for being in business under G, or is it the specific thing that you are doing in business for you?
I think for me it's both. For me, I enjoy what I do, being in the space I'm in the Western environmental space. But also I like the thrill of just being in business, just exploring boundaries. I'm that person that will look at opportunities. If somebody comes or a client comes to me and says, can you do something with this waste stream, which hasn't been done before? I will go and do research and look for opportunities. So I think within the broader border car area, we're one of the recyclers that takes almost all recyclables, because I will go and explore opportunities for it and provide solutions for our clients.
So your daughter is now in that stage where she may be starting to think, okay, I get a job. She puts a smile on your face every time you talk about her.
Yeah, she does.
What are you telling her about business, about work, things like that?
So, I didn't think when she was still at school that she was interested in becoming an entrepreneur. I thought she would go more in the science direction because, that's what she did at school. She decided she wants to study business, so she's doing a BCom International Business at Stellenbosch currently. And her desire is to be an entrepreneur. So she says we inspired her. My husband tries to dissuade her because he knows it's a very hard industry to be in. But I think that both is better now, and she'll have the skill set to be able to navigate the waters that we're trying to do right now. She will be equipped with the skill set to be able to do that.
I know that sometimes you've had a doubt here or there, about maybe I should go apply for a job, especially after the pandemic, the year we've had now. But you're still here, right? What is the one regret that you're just like, okay, that's it. Yeah, if this one thing I could change. I'll give you an example. Somebody has once said to me that they regret not starting sooner, But it's like, I guess it's not that serious because they were learning something together. What's yours?
I believe that everything is by divine appointment. So God has placed everything in its path. We need to navigate that path. There was a time where I seriously gave up the business. I actually signed a contract to go back into corporate, and God had a serious talking to me. My husband wasn't convinced that we needed, because we were going to relocate. He wasn't convinced we were going to do that. So yes, I seriously needed to reconsider exactly what I want to do, what I want to achieve. And I think the main goal was always to make a difference in the community. And I just weighed up that options. Am I going to be able to achieve that where I'm going to? And I had a foretaste of what it was like going back to corporate. So it reminded me of why I left, why I left in the first place. Because you have to be driven by purpose. And for me, this is the purpose that I need to fulfill. And God has always given me the resources to be able to do it. During the pandemic, it was hectic for us. 80 to 90% of our waste that generates the income for the business is glass. And with the pandemic and them having closed the liquor industry, we could not send any glass. We couldn't send any glass to Council. We had to seriously dig very deep and diversify as a business. But every month, without fail, during the pandemic, we could pay our staff. They actually got increases during the pandemic. And that's how good God's been, really, Lebo. I give all praise and honor and glory to God. He's really carried us through as a family and as a business. I've got staff that pray every day because I'll call them together and say, guys, I don't know how we're going to pay you this month. And you can see they intercede, they pray. I'm able to pay them. I'm able to pay our creditors. God's really been so good for us during this journey. I've learned so lot. You have to stay on your knees as I'm talking.
Tell me about your proudest triumph in these years. When you've been in this business, the very fact, 13 years, and I know it's not too long ago that you were like, it was before the pandemic now, right? Like 2-3 years ago, you were like, I am done, let's go back to corporate. But then you didn't. What is your biggest triumph when you think about it? It's just like, this is the thing.
I think for me it is the growth in the business and how many people we actually reach. We've got more than 2,500 vendors that we actually provide services to. And currently we've got about 25 staff and it's growing constantly. We're launching our second mobile buyback center next week, Friday. So we'll be able to employ another 5 people. So to me it is seeing the organization grow, our staff complement grow, that we can make an impact in this impoverished area. Because the business that we're in really does make a difference in the community. You'll see the areas that we operate in, you won't find anything that's valuable that they can actually sell. Because previously, you only had static buyback centers where people have to drag the recyclables to. Now we can go into the community and make a difference. So more people are actually recycling, more people are actually able to generate an income from what's lying in.
Things that you learned throughout your life in corporate that helped you, that you maybe still use now or that helped you with.
The one example is the management systems. So I believe in systems. One of the things I learned in OEMs is try and do something once only. And when I came into the waste industry, I found that you've got so many people touching the same data so many times, so it leaves so much room to error. So the first thing I developed was a database where we capture information once, the client can access the information directly. So it's really streamlined my operations, admin staff. I've only got 2 people, so that has really assisted me in terms of cutting our overhead costs and adding value where it's really needed and where you can actually make a difference. So I believe that the system should work for me and not I should be working for the system. So that's one of the most important lessons that I've learned in corporate that I've taken into the business.
Incredible. What, if anything, do you wish you had known before you were like, yes, even me, I can do this business thing?
I think in the beginning, you spread yourself very thin. I took on every and any and every project. And with having my husband in the business, he always puts on the brakes. He says, I run 10 miles ahead of the team. And that's just me. So I think that's very important, having that anchor and making me think, is my team on the same page as what I am? Because I'm thinking they are,
Yeah.
but yet they're lagging behind.
Yeah.
So I have to take stock every now and again. So he's the voice of reason, and that is very important in a business, that you've got a balance. Because I want to do everything. I think I can tackle everything. I've got the resources to do it. Meanwhile, I need to take stock of the actual resources within the business to be able to do that.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk about vision, and businesses must have vision, therefore a culture, therefore, there's buzzwords that go around. I'm interested in vision because it speaks to really the heart of who we are as a company and stuff like that. How have you been able to make sure that your vision is actually pulled through every level of the company, with employees and people like that?
It's very important for me to have regular meetings with my team to ensure that the ethos of the business, our values, to me is very important, that we're community centered, that we are looking after the community and the environment. So I have to stress that all the time, because sometimes I will just assume that everybody's on the same page in terms of commitment to the environment, that they understand the importance of preservation of the environment and not taking into account their background. So I have to take a step back and evaluate the levels within the organization and make sure that I have appropriate street.
Deidre, you keep mentioning people. People. You Deidre people. Like Deidre people, Nxumalo Freeman. Like, it's your names. Why are people so important to you?
We all put on this earth for a purpose, level. And I strongly believe in terms of the purpose of myself and DNF as an organization is to impact the lives of people. Impact it positively, so that we can leave a legacy for future generations. With all the pollution happening, we've got an opportunity to make a difference. So I'll pull whatever resources I need to make sure that we can make a difference. Even if we're on our last leg, which I thought we were last year. It's only God's grace that has kept us to fulfill the purpose that He's destined for us.
Every one of us has practices. For me, I know I go to the beach. Like, I can be having the hottest day. There is that one thing that I can do to just bring myself back to center. Can you share with us some of those practices for you?
For me, it is also the beach. I missed it when we were in lockdown, because my daughter and I would regularly go for walks on the beach. I find it really just calms you. And with my family having been impacted by COVID, my husband's also now calmed, and walks on the beach is actually very calming for us. But also having that quiet time with God, I think that focuses and centers a person to actually know what you want out of life and what you need to do. So spirituality is very important.
Okay. Do you write a lot of lists?
Lists. I do mental lists. But one of the things I actually learned from my daughter is you need to actually visualize your goals and objectives. Because she'll put out her objectives for the year, her vision board, and she'll tick it off. I've achieved that. So I've learned that from her, to actually visualize it. Because I used to just have it in my head, and I expected to actually manifest.
Yeah.
And that was very important, that you actually need to have it up there for it to actually come to fruition.
That's incredible. We do learn so much from our children. Tell me about, and don't say your daughter because I can see that's maybe coming, your biggest hero, the person that's just like, you know what, yeah.
It's my parents' level, both my mom and my dad. Just their work ethic. I lost both of them in January, so it's been very hard as a business because my dad was an integral part of the business as well. He mentored so many of the staff that look up to him, and both my husband and I. He's just brought that peace into the business, so we really miss him. But they are my heroes, my mom and dad. I really, really do miss them.
Do you hope that your daughter says that about you?
I hope so. Yes, I do.
Okay, we're wrapping up now, but I really am curious. What is the one opportunity that came your way and you were like, yes, we have made it. Now this is in our corner.
I'm still waiting for that. But one of the milestones was we applied for funding to do the glass beneficiation, and an organization called the Innovation Hub, they saw the vision and they believed in what we need to do in this area, and they invested funding in making sure that we can actually start that part of the business. So I've had those experiences. FFS saw the need to actually put in a 47,000 litre oil tank here, and they invested in the business. So those things I value a lot. I don't take it for granted. I appreciate all that investment. I mean, even starting out my business, government has put all these resources in place to assist us. I've had assistance from ECDC, I've had assistance from CEDA. When I was still a youth, I had assistance from the National Youth Development Agency. And that assisted me in terms of getting my website off the ground, getting marketing materials, sorting out my branding. So that was very important. So I would encourage any new entrepreneur, make use of the resources that government has made available. It has made a difference in my business, definitely.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Upcoming. What's in the pipeline?
Upcoming excitement. We're always looking to expand our footprint, so we are venturing more and more into the industrial space. But as I said, my passion is always in the community. So we're launching our second mobile buyback center next week, Friday, the 16th of April, in Orange Grove Township. So you're welcome to attend. We're very excited. Our first mobile buyback center has performed extremely well. That's why Polyco saw it fit to actually implement a second buyback center with us. We will also be rolling out static buyback centers. DNF is an implementing agent for the Call to Action program, which is a collaboration between the municipality, the development agency, and the Bordekai Chamber of Business. And through Polyco funding, we will be rolling out the first static buyback center in Southernwood on World Environment Day on the 5th of May. So there's a lot going to be happening. So people just need to follow our social media to see what upcoming programs we've got. We're still continuing with our school recycling program. So schools that want to come on board and get involved, they can contact us on info@dnfwaste.co.za. But you'll find it on our website.
We'll also link it at the bottom of this video.
Thank you so much. They can contact us. We're still running the school competition. We've got awesome prizes for schools that participate. So yes, we're excited.
And you're still going to have an awards thing for the schools, huh?
Yes.
Yay.
So hopefully COVID restrictions are away, because last we did it in 2019. We invited 500 learners at the Orient Theatre.
It's quite a thing for them, eh? All right. I thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to give you a moment to just say, like, you know what? If you are thinking of going into business, or if you are thinking of working with your husband, we didn't talk about that so much. You know, just anything that you would like to share with someone out there who's...
I think you need to know what your passion is and make sure that your business reflects your passion. Your networks, I can't emphasize that enough. Your networks are important. make sure that you have your networks built before you venture on your own. You won't want to be disappointed and think that the business model is going to work if you don't have all those networks in place. For me, that is very, very important. And then make use of the government resources. Government's trying to help us to become entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs. So utilize all those resources. Go to all the funding agencies. They want us to actually come and see them and assist us.
Wow. Deidre, I want to thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Leo, for having me. I really appreciate it.
It wasn't so painful, right?
No,
It
was awesome. Relaxing.
Thank you so much for talking to us. It's always so important. In Zulu they say, that means, you know what that means. You ask the ones who have been, like when they are up there, just, you know. And, you know, sometimes we think that in order to help and support others, we have to put our own money and put in so much resources and stuff. Sometimes it's really just this kind of talk that helps someone click that, hey, I've also been an entrepreneur since I was 7.
5.
You know. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is The Soul Dive. My name is Lebo. See you again soon.